Hi, in this lecture I want to talk about integrity controls. This is lecture 4 in security architecture series. The reason I wanted to talk about integrity controls is whenever we think about information security, the first thing comes to our mind is confidentiality. Then we think about availability. We often overlook integrity. Integrity has a lot of importance for information security, compliance, privacy. Also, if the organization is in scope for ISO 13485 Alcoa, integrity controls are very important. If you take the compliance like SOX, if the organization doesn't have right integrity controls, there is no guarantee the results sent to SEC are valid. So, what is the integrity we are talking about? It is maintaining the data and object integrity during acquisition, processing, transmission, storage, backup, and recovery. The next one is resource integrity. Some people think data is resource, but here in this case, the resource is the one which is actually processing the data like a network device or a compute device or things like that. If we cannot maintain resource integrity, there is no guarantee that the data being processed by the resource maintains its integrity. Now let's have a look at some of the controls during data acquisition. The first one is edit checks. Edit checks make sure the data entered is within a proper range. It is similar to input validation during API testing. If you remember back in 2013-2014, one of the stock market traders was able to enter a billion instead of a million, and it brought down whole market. So the edit checks will help with these scenarios where it might cause integrity violation to the system. The next one is maker checker. In maker checker, the person or entity does the data acquisition and another person or entity makes sure the data acquired is correct and is not causing any integrity violations. The third one is timelines. If the data being acquired is in a sequence and if you find that the data is required in a wrong sequence or only partial data is acquired, that is causing a data integrity violation. Also, that could potentially represent a fraud or business logic issues in the system. The last one is access controls. Only authorized persons should be allowed to perform data acquisition control. Data acquisition. Now let's have a look at data processing controls. Most of the time, the application level controls like WASP controls are enough for keeping the integrity of the system. Sometimes we may need additional logging and monitoring to make sure any violations causing because of the business logic processing can be captured and remediated. The next two can be resource level controls or can be data level controls. They are code signing and code review. Code signing helps us to make sure the right code is processing the data. And code review, we often perform code review for making sure information security um, bugs are found or things like that. We can extend to business logic to make sure the business logic is not causing any integrity violations in the system. The next one is controls during data transmission. The first one is data signing. If you sign the data and transmit the signature along with the data at the destination, we can recompute the signature and make sure that the data is not tampered during the transmission. The next one is single delivery. If you are a banking organization and if you are processing a deposit, you should only process it once. Otherwise, it is going to cause integrity violation. The next one is sequential delivery. If you are a banking organization and if you are processing a deposit and a withdrawal, and if you happen to process the withdrawal first, that will cause integrity violation and the deposit withdrawal will fail. The next one is in-time delivery. In-time delivery is important for all cases. The last one is transmission integrity. Most of the applications we cannot do anything at the transmission level to maintain the integrity, but the people who actually write the transmission level protocols, they need to make sure there are no errors or no unintended things happening at the transmission layer which will cause integrity violation. The next one is data storage. Here encryption is one of the important ones. Encrypted data is not easy to be tampered with. The next one is access control. If we have right access control during the storage, we will know that the data is not tampered and no integrity violations are introduced. If you are using database for storing the data, databases themselves have set of controls to maintain the database level integrity. The last one is unintended deletion of data and files shouldn't be causing any integrity violations. Now let's take a look at some of the controls during a backup and recovery. Most of us are familiar with point of time objective and recovery point objective and recovery time objective. The next one is encrypting the backup. If you encrypt the backup, it is not easy to be tampered with, and we will be sure that it is not causing any um, integrity violations when it is restored. The next one is access control to the backup, and the last one is inventory of the backup. If you have large set of inventory and if you don't properly mark what is what, then there is a possibility you may be restoring wrong um, data that will cause integrity violation. Now let's move on to resource integrity. To maintain the resource integrity, the first control is change management. If we have a proper change management, we know that proper things are getting into the system like patches or software upgrades. That way we know it is not causing any integrity violation. The next one is configuration management. If we have right configuration management, we will know the system is configured properly, and that way it is not causing any integrity violation. Any malware in the system might cause integrity violation. The last one is access control. If you maintain access control at data level, that is not enough. We should maintain access control at the resource level itself, like securing the device physically, or controls at the OS level, or controls at privileged access management level. They all will help maintain integrity of the system. Now let's look at some additional consideration. If you are in scope for Alcova, they have different set of integrity controls. And if you are in scope for SOX, make sure that the systems are uh, properly managed and they don't have any integrity violations, because if there is a integrity violation, it may cause violations, and the financial results produced by the organization may not be correct. These are some of the links I used for preparing the lecture. They will help you to uh, with your thought process and things like that. And these are the links to some of the images I included in my presentation. Small disclaimer, the presentation is not representing the company I work for, and get in touch with me. In my next lecture, I'm planning to talk about API security. Thank you. Thanks for listening.